Hey, what's going on? My name's Lockie, and this is the round 19 review of the A-League men's competition. We had some massive results, and by massive, I know you use the word a lot, but by massive, I mean in terms of just the number of goals we saw this weekend. Some really, really big wins for a number of sides, and a lot of fantastic goals were scored this weekend, and some big results that we have to talk about in regards to how the ladder's looking as well, as now the gap is starting to get just a little bit tighter between the sides that are chasing the top six and the sides who are just sitting towards the bottom end of the top six, if you like. So it's becoming really, really fascinating stuff, as it always is every single week. But we're going to run through the games in chronological order, starting off with the Newcastle Jets. Emphatic 4-0 victory over Wellington Phoenix, which, dude, this result must have been just relieving the weight off the shoulders of Arthur Papas, a Newcastle Jets side who had lost their last 3 consecutive games. Wellington Phoenix, we knew we're going to be struggling heading into this game with so many players out, whether it's through injury, whether it's through international duty, a number of those all-whites players involved in New Zealand international duty. And Newcastle Jets really turned it on, especially in that second half. In the first half, it was a bit more even. And look, there was still some positives for Wellington Phoenix for this game, but Newcastle Jets, man, I mean, look at that. Olivier Bamal, fantastic with his double. Becca Mikaldazzi getting back onto the scorer's sheet. And then Eli Babal with his first goal in many years in the A-League men's competition. So, look, a fantastic one for Newcastle Jets. And it replicates what they did early on the season. You might remember when Newcastle Jets tore apart Wellington Phoenix. I think it might have been round 3 or 4 of the season where they just they crushed them. I see you guys tuning to the live chat. Mariners for Life. Cameron's in here as well. Says big win for the Jets. Absolutely. And again, I mean, we look at the wins for some of those sides chasing the top 6 spots. And this is an important win for the Jets because it just keeps them in touch with the top 6. So a big 4-0 win for the Jets. We had 4 games on Saturday, and it started out mudgy, and I was out for this game, man. It was a great trip out to regional New South Wales once again. Of course, the Mariners played their FFA Cup round of 32 tie out there back in November, so it's great to get out there. The Matchday vlog is up on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out for the day out at Mudgee. Fantastic game if you're a Mariners fan, man. What a win, 4-2. And again, quite similar to the Jets in the way that 2 teams searching for a win and got a big win here. And Mariners have struggled to score, many goals in games. It's always been quite close, but this was emphatic from the Mariners. This was one of the best attacking performances we've seen from the Mariners this season. Jason Cummings and Arenya, that partnership that has promised so much, finally showed some fruit in this game. Those 2 were fantastic. Cummings, especially in that first half, was just running rampant against that Macarthur FC side who just hadn't woken up, who hadn't arrived in Mudgee, who hadn't gotten off the bus from the trip over from Campbelltown. And it went to show, because the big thing from the opening stages of this game was we saw Ante Milicic make a triple substitution less than half an hour into the game, which was just incredible. It was Najar that came off. It was Jovanovic that came off as well. Charles Mombois. I've never seen anything like it before. And Ante Milicic, a coach who, at times, I mean, this goes to show, even if you listen to his press conference after the game, I mean, how much has he got it figured out in terms of what is he actually doing here with Macarthur SC? They're a side that's going to be really interesting to watch, because some weeks they look good. You think back to the Battle of the West last week. I was down at that game as well. They were really solid and structured and defended well in that game and got 3 points against Wanderers. But in this game and the weeks previous against the Melbourne sides, they've been really poor. So you just never know what you're going to get from Macarthur FC, who, look, they did manage to grab a couple of goals in this game. Mariappa scoring another goal against the Mariners. Lockie Rose is grabbing a late one, but you can see there Rennie with a double. Matt Hatch with another impact sub goal. he's becoming the man that loves scoring off the bench. And Noah Smith, great to see Noah Smith get his first goal in the A-League as well. So as a Mariners fan, so stoked with this result, and hopefully this continues a push of big wins for the Mariners. We've got Ryan in the chat says, go the Raw Finals, hope still alive for Brisbane. We're going to be talking about them in just a sec as well. And big turnaround from South Coast Mariners after the poor performance in Perth. That's right, yeah, especially after the Perth game, even the victory game before that. The attacking woes were the concerns for the Mariners, the fact that they weren't able to find the back of the net. And yeah, especially that Perth game, we were really, really lackluster in the final third. In this game, flip the switch, and hopefully this builds some confidence for the Mariners. Let's talk about the 2 primetime Saturday night games. We saw Sydney FC take down Western United 3-0. A result that no one saw coming. My prediction for this one, I actually called for a Western 2-1 win. I thought they'd get it done away from home against a Sydney FC side who, again, you just never know if they're going to show up. They got the win last week against Perth Glory. Second consecutive win here, 3-0. against West United. It really is quite an impressive result, and it was highlighted by NEWCASTLE, who had a great game and scored that fantastic first half goal. But Luciano Narsing, who has now had 3 appearances now in a Sydney FC shirt. Well, 4, I think, if you include the Champions League. If you played in the Champions League, no, he didn't make an appearance in that one, so it'd just be 3. But he got his first A-League goal for Sydney FC in this game, and then Mustafa Amini, it just became comfortable for Sydney FC come the later stages of the game, and West United were just second best for basically the whole game, especially when you look at the score sheet and you look at the phases of play throughout the game. It was really interesting, and I think West United are now starting to miss maybe the likes of Neil Kilkenny, who's unfortunately overseas with a family member passing away. So, look, interesting result. I don't read into it too much. West United will bounce back from this. You have to remember this is their first loss in a long time. West United absolutely will bounce back, but sense of optimism now if you're a Sydney FC fan, because looking at this result, compared to where we were a couple of weeks ago. Remember after that Sydney derby? I remember I made a dedicated video about it, talking about Sydney FC and how they're on the free fall. They'd lost 3 consecutive games. They've answered the critics, man. Sydney FC, Steve Corica has turned things around, and they've got the players to do it, and they showed it in this game. NEWCASTLE, Narsing, Amini, the big guys stepping up in this performance here. So, big result. In the other primetime game, we saw the Melbourne derby take place. Of course, and always an exciting fixture. 1-1 it ended. It was an interesting game. I don't think either side was at their best. I don't think they were. Melbourne Victory, of course, coming off that hectic midweek Champions League tie away to Vissel Kobe, where they lost out 4-3. It was Rojas who grabbed the first goal for Melbourne Victory, but then Curtis Good levelling things just before half-time. In the second half, it was quite interesting. I probably thought, on the basis of the play, Melbourne City probably had the better chances, especially right at the end. They were so frantic at the end. I thought Melbourne City might have found the winner at the end there, but Victory held on. Both sides defensively pretty solid throughout this game. But again, like I said, neither side really at their best. There wasn't really much, really intense, fluid attacking play, you know what I mean? So I think both sides will take a result. I mean, the result still takes Melbourne City top of the table with that Western loss. So there is a positive there for City. It would have been really interesting if City had won this game then, because then that really would have changed the complexion of things towards the top of the table as well. Ryan in the live chat says Melbourne derby was very exciting for the neutral, as it always is, man, and always a fantastic turnout in those derby games. I'm very excited to talk about this next game. We're going to talk about Perth Glory 1. Brisbane Roar 4, man. And the big, man, one of the big stories coming out from this weekend, Richard Garcia sacked. Richard Garcia is gone, the Perth Glory coach, and rightly so. Look, we'll talk about it straight off the bat before jumping into the game. Had to be made. It was inevitable. Perth Glory returning home to Western Australia have picked up 3 losses and just 1 draw, and have just been, look, yeah, I thought that we might have seen an improvement from Perth Glory returning back to their home state, to their home stadium, and we've absolutely haven't seen that at all. They've been so poor all season. Yes, they've picked up some results here and there, but overall, they're just not playing well enough. And with the personnel they got, I think they're playing the incorrect formation. They're playing players in incorrect roles. Still not starting Daniel Steins just blows my mind. Daniel Steins, I mean, he showed it with an incredible goal that he scored. Daniel Steins is one of the most promising young players in the league, and Richie Garcia week in, week out refuses to start him. It really is bizarre. And instead they start Adrian Sardinero, who is well and truly the biggest flop of the season. If you watch Adrian Sardinero play, I'm not sure what he's doing, man. Not really sure what he's doing. How did we lose this, says Football Capital? And yeah, especially considering we got to talk about how poor Brisbane have been away from home. Brisbane hadn't won a game away from home all season up to this point. They've been so poor away from home. And 4-1. I mean, it just goes to show how much crap Perth Glory we're in at the moment. And hopefully this is turning a new leaf for Perth Glory. Ruben Zakovic taking over as interim coach. Hopefully they get a more, just play with a bit more positivity. Because, up to this point, it's really looked like Bruno Fornaroli is their only outlet at the moment. But look, Lascano, a double for him. That's just going to boost his confidence, a striker who hasn't really been at his best so far this season. Jay O'Shea scored the penalty and a fantastic assist for that first Lascano goal. Incredibly underrated midfielder. I think Jay O'Shea's awesome. And Luka Ivanovic, again, keep an eye on him for the second half of this season. If he stays injury-free, that's been the problem for Luka Ivanovic this season. He's got potential to be a really top-class A-League level striker. So keep an eye on Luka Ivanovic as well. big result for Brisbane Roar. And as Ryan was saying earlier, sort of still puts them in contention, you know? Football Capital says 3 wins all season is not good enough. I agree. It simply isn't good enough. For a side that brought in Brandon O'Neill, fantastic midfielder, who has a solid defence, you know, with Jonathan Aspro, Darryl Latchman. I think they've got good young players in Josh Rawlins and Callum Timmins. Daniel Steins has already talked about. But yeah, I mean, especially returning back home, you'd think that'd be a turn of fortune, and we just haven't seen that at all from Perth Glory. So I think it was an easy decision in the end to let go of Richard Garcia. Cameron says Brisbane love to sack other teams' managers. Of course, we saw it. It's been hotly talked about in the last 24 hours. It happened with Carl Robinson the last time when Brisbane defeated the Wanderers 3-0, and then Carl Robinson was sacked. So yeah, it's happened again. Brisbane, the coach killers, aren't they? But a massive result for the Queensland boys. The final game of the round, a nil or draw. It's quite rare that we see nil or draws in the A-League, to be honest. West Sydney Wanderers, Adelaide United did a live watch-along for this game. Goodness me, was it boring. Honestly, and I don't say that often, but again, another one of these games this weekend where both teams were absolutely not at their best. Craig Goodwin was missing for Adelaide, and it showed big time. Credit to Adelaide, though, for they were missing their four top choice centre backs. So they were having to run Lockie Barr and Alex Popovich, who both played, you know, decently enough, kept the clean sheet and all. Yavi Lopez as well was solid in the back line for the Reds. West Sydney Wanderers, though, I think, again, considering that West Sydney Wanderers had won the reverse tie, like the away tie, like a few days before, these guys played midweek, Wanderers would probably be frustrated that they couldn't get the win in this game. And look, they probably had enough chances as well, but it was again that same story of not enough quality in the final third to put away the chances. So West Sydney Wanderers fans still frustrated. They're just not able to build any consistency at the moment this season as well. Some more comments here. Raw have 4 home games in a row now. There you go. Massive opportunity for Brisbane with that home run. Football Capital says whoever approved the signing of Daniel Sturridge should be sacked as well. I mean, dude, honestly, for the sake of the A-League, just quickly on Daniel Sturridge, I mean, I hope he gets fit and plays some games toward the end of the season, scores some goals. Would be great for the A-League to see, for Perth fans to see. I don't even know if it's going to happen. We just don't know. It's really has been it's been an absolute disaster. It really has, and it hurts to say that because it really we all hoped that it would have worked out. But look, man, I mean, we've heard I think he might be another couple of weeks away, so hopefully he gets fit sooner rather than later. So those are the 6 results from this weekend. Some big games, some big results, especially for the likes of the Jets, Brisbane, Mariners, some of those lower table sides. Grabbed some really eye-opening victories there. It's really, you know, put some of those top sides on notice, you know what I mean? Let's jump into my team of the week, and some potentially interesting selections here, and we'd love to get your thoughts in the team of the week. Here is the graphic. Let's jump into it right now. So we've gone for just 3 central defenders. Defense wasn't really on top in this game, but we've got Mark Birigidi in goals. We've also got Curtis Good, Alex Wilkinson, and Jordan Elsey, all defenders who were solid enough in their games. Curtis Good grabbing a goal in that Melbourne derby. I thought Jordan Elsey was quite solid for the Jets, keeping a clean sheet against Wellington Phoenix. Quite rare that Newcastle keep a clean sheet this season. And Alex Wilkinson, a player who just doesn't get enough credit. He's such an underrated player, and you know, kept Sydney organised against what is of course a fantastic Sydney FC against the West United side as well. What else are we saying in the chat? Best match day grand Mariners Stadium, says Jack. Dude, I would say the chips, but they don't get salted enough. Your family complain about all the internet usage that we simply use studying live streams. Well, luckily I live by myself, so I get to use up all the internet that I want. Ryan says Jay O'Shea, one of the best midfielders in the league. Surely he will make it to the A-League All-Stars against Barca in the middle of the year. It's a fair shout. And I've put Jay O'Shea. Speaking of Jay O'Shea, put him in my team of the week in midfield. And we've got Mustafa Amini in there as well. Bumal Ninkovic in the wide positions. Pena in that number 10 role. And then Luscano and Arena up the top, both grabbing doubles. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this live stream as we talk about all the action across the A-League men's. And keep an eye out every Thursday. We're doing the predictions live stream. Every Monday afternoon we do the review live stream and the podcast every single